How much has that lifted spirits ahead of this one, do you think?
Spirits are always good here. It's a good changing room. I've said that all along, and it's no surprise to me that we went here and got the result we did, because that's what we're capable of if we were at our best. And I thought we played really well. I was probably a wee bit harsh on the boys, probably because I was getting desperate to win the game, because when I look back at it, we played some really good stuff and created loads of chances. Not that I gave them a hard time, I just thought we hadn't played as well as we had, because I looked at it and I thought, yeah, a lot of good stuff, as I say. So it was a bit of just getting desperate to win the game, but it was a great 3 points, and it sets this game up pretty well, doesn't it?
How big a game is this?
Yeah, big. I've got to keep the focus, so I can't get carried away and lose my focus in the game, and I want my players to be the same, because that's when we're at our best. So I want them to focus, I want them to realise they've got an excellent opportunity, and I want them to realise how good a game it is to play, and I think they've got to embrace it.
You don't probably have anything to fear from Kilmarnock based on recent results?
We've got to respect them, not fear them. They're a Premier League team who are towards the bottom of the Premier League, but they know how to get results. Derek's a really good manager, proven that for a long time now, so we respect them, but we never fear them, because we showed last year in the Championship that when we're on our day we can give them a right game, and that's what we'll be hoping to do again.
Probably an unfair question to ask you, but with the financial situation in mind, I mean, this is obviously a very important game from that perspective as well.
I talked about the focus, and if I focus on financial, then it's not really my job, it's not my remit. Yes, I'll do all I can to help the board and this club, and winning this game would be helpful towards that, but I can't lose focus of what I've got to do as a manager, what my staff have got to do as a group, and what my players have got to do as well as a squad. So we've got to just keep the mindset on the actual game, not what's happening off the pitch.
Morton defeated by Ayr last night, that's a wee bonus?
I think a draw, I would have liked a draw, but we've got to win games. That's what we've got to do. If we worry about what Morton do, what Ayr do individually, what Partick do, what Dundee and Queen's Park do, it's the wrong thing to do again. We've got to make sure we just go out and try and win games and close that gap, and that's all I'm thinking about.
And finally, team injury news.
You can imagine, because such a big game, we've got a good squad to choose from, so plenty to choose from, and got a wee selection problem, but it's a good selection problem.
Any doubts at all? Or
No, nothing, no injuries picked up from Ayr at all, which is great. I've not been able to say that a lot this season.
Thank you.
Sorry, if I could just follow on from that. I think you said maybe about a month and a half ago that we would see, outcomes improve as players came back. I mean, has that been borne out in recent, performances?
I think so. I'm not trying to kid the fans on or anybody at the club on that the 2 Hamilton results were sore, and they came within a week, and it was such a pivotal week, and if we'd taken any sort of points out of those games, we would have been in a much better position. But since the turn of the year, since January, when I got all my players back, that our results have been much better. Could still be better still, but I think in general from January, I don't know, I think it's those 2 games we've lost. Every other game we've won 4 or something, and maybe drawn 4 and lost 2, so it's not bad form getting into this one. And then what happened in the Scottish Cup at Queen's Park, obviously the form has picked up since the players have come back.
And I suppose that's, throughout the season with injuries, you get the inconsistencies, and that's where the form kind of swings up and down, and it has kind of sort of been that sort of season throughout.
It has. I think any company operating without their full staff, I think would suffer, and I mean in any job capacity. And I think that's happened to us. There's no lies being told here, there's no spin being put on it. We had a horrendous injury situation. I feel as if I touch on it every week, but since January things have got a lot better. in terms of results, and that's because I've got my players back. So I think it's self-explanatory.
I know Wallace, obviously, who was just in speaking to us, said that, you know, they like to have it at home, but do you feel, you know, certainly on Saturday anyway down here, do you feel as you get just as up for the away games, you know, making a sort of point of, you know, setting your sort away from home, and you know,
people have asked me that before. The better away team. Right now we are, because we've not done as well at home, but we've shown at home we can get big results in the past, and that's what I'm hoping for again. And we get a lively crowd, get everybody behind us. We're a team to be reckoned with, and I know Derek McInnes was at the Hamilton game, the 2-1 game, and I touched on those two games. They were sore, but we played well in that second one, and we played well for 45 in the first one. To take nothing out, it was a huge disappointment. Still don't know how we never took any points, but we are where we are. So he'll see that we're a good team, and it doesn't matter whether we're at home or we're down at Rugby Park, we're going to be a threat to Kilmarnock.
And Friday is a great short window for Caledonian Thistle, both as a team and in terms of the fans that come out to see the game. Yeah,
I think we'll get a healthy crowd on TV. That's why I want my players to embrace it. I think it's a really good game to play in. You wish you could get your boots back on and get out there, because such a good fixture, but this is my players' day hopefully, and I want them to just get out there, enjoy the fixture, see where it could take them, because it could take them to a semi-final where you might get a favourable draw. And there's a possibility, there's a route to the final if you get a draw, and I mean, look at Falkirk there, they'll be thinking the same. So if we can win this game, there's certainly opportunities for a semi-final, a brilliant draw in the semi-final, but we've got to just look at this game and make sure we can try and beat Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock will think the same, they'll be thinking, what an opportunity, there's a route here to the final for us as well. So I'm the same as Derek.
And it's sometimes a circumstance that, you know, doesn't always present itself to many players in their career. I know some people can be blessed with final after final and success throughout their careers, but, you know, especially with some people, it might be this is your chance.
Yeah, I think I've touched on this before as well, where this club has quite a recent record, the Scottish Cup win, and you just have to go down there and look at the walls. And if the players want to be inspired and want to do something in their career that they remember, I think you'd only have to go maybe 40 steps down the stair and have a look at the walls and see what could maybe be there for them. And that's exactly what I want them to do. I want them to really realise what an opportunity we've got here.
And I'm sorry to touch on this as well, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't, but it's not like you can clap your hands and say, right boys, let's think of this financial incentive that may be waiting for us, but it would be a good help to you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I cannot say, oh no, put pressure on my team and put pressure on my staff that we have to win this for financial gain. I can't do that. It'd be lovely if we did, and that's where I'm with it in terms of helping the club.
Good stuff, thank you.
Cheers.
Billy, you've touched on this at the start of the conference when you were asked how big a game it was, and you were kind of talking about, I can't focus on that, I just need to keep my focus and almost treat the game in its kind of own right. But just touching on what you just said there about an opportunity, I mean, you were lucky enough to win the Scottish Cup as a player. I mean, will you be sitting down with the boys before it? Will that be part of your team talk to say, grasp this opportunity? They don't come around very often, and when they do, you've got to take it. Or do you almost have to kind of park that kind of talk and focus on the game, simply as that?
I won't be talking about myself, that's for sure. I want them to realise how big an opportunity it is. I don't know if we'll mention my team talk. We do video tomorrow morning before the game, the day before the game. We always do that, so it's a case of giving them the video, having a chat with them, make them realise how big a game it is, but what an opportunity there is. But make sure they go and enjoy it. Don't heat themselves with pressure, whether it's finance, whether it's the opportunity to get to a semi-final, final, possibly a final. You don't want to put that pressure on the boys, because I know if they go out there and enjoy it, my group of players on their day could get a favourable result. But as I said, Derek McInnes and Kilmarnock will be thinking the exact same. So that's where we are with it. I'll not be heaping pressure on, but I want them to realise as well it's a fantastic game to play in.
What kind of challenge are you expecting from Kilmarnock? Because in the league, they haven't won away from home this season, but they have saved probably their two best away performances for the cup competitions at Hearts and United. I mean, what are you expecting from Kilmarnock, and can you read anything into their poor away form so far this season as an added kind of cause for optimism amongst yourselves?
We won't get too carried away because, as I said, we're going to respect them being the Premiership team, and you've just mentioned their away ties, Hearts and Dundee United. This is going to be a real tough cup tie, and it's going to be who wants it most wins. Derek will have his team organised as he always does. There'll be a threat at set plays, and we have to match that. We have to match their endeavour, and if we do all that, we're in with a fighting chance. That's where I am with the tie.
And you were talking about the fact, you've got a number of options at your disposal now, which you haven't really had for large spells this season. Two very good results you're taking into this one. Do you get a sense that everything's coming together at just the right time in what could still be a very special season for the football club?
You only hope so, because this championship, as I've said, you just have to look at last night, Morton flying, Dougie getting manager of the month, and then the curse struck where Airgo beat them and we beat Ayr Saturday. So this championship is mental at times and brutal, as I've said, but in a good way. We can still have a good season, but we need to keep making sure that we win games, taking points from every game, and we have a real chance. We're not giving up yet. We know it's a tall order, but we're a squad, when I get my players back, and that was your question, that are doing better because I have a selection now. And when I look at my bench last week, I mean, Ozzy Samuel's back, and Dan Mackay on the bench there, Niggles, Stephen Boyd, players like that. I mean, I'm forgetting a few who were on the bench, but I've got a strong bench to choose from now, and that's what I've wanted for a long time, because I know if I've got that, I'm going to get good results, or decent results. When I never had it this season, and I had 10 of my regulars out, it's very difficult.
Billy, all the best.
Cheers.
Billy, just a quick one. You mentioned the fans, and obviously there'll be a good crowd on Friday night, and previous Friday night games under the lights have attracted a sort of a more vocal crowd. How much can the boys help you this Friday night?
They always do, Stevie. Even the wee bandy that were there at Somerset on Saturday, that helps. You can see the boys reacting to the fans when we got the winner. It doesn't matter the numbers, it matters how vocal they are, and that's what we need. We've had Friday night games against Kelly here where the fans were spectacular and so loud, and the players reacted to it. I remember Kit Broadfoot running over to the fans over on the far side. I remember Welsh's goal and how we celebrated it. That's what we want, that's what this fixture's about. It's such a big fixture for everybody, including Kilmarnock, that it's a great, I really mean it when I say it, it's a great fixture to play in a quarter final of a Scottish Cup with a semi-final place up for grabs. We could get a favourable draw and maybe even get to the final, but that's looking too far ahead. But you do dream, that's what we do in the Cup, but it's there, it's in front of us. We have to go and enjoy the game and make sure we compete in it.
I'll look forward to it. Good luck Friday, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.